Faith gives substance to our hopes and makes us certain of realities we do not see.
Hi. When people tell you that God is everywhere, how do you respond? Do you say, I know? Do you say, okay, show me? Or do you simply smile and think, oh God, not another religious nutter? A lot of well-meaning people have suggested to me that God is everywhere, and some of them have been very convincing, and something inside me has often felt they could be right. So it really shouldn't have been too much of a surprise when I proved to myself that there was some truth in it, and that God is everywhere on earth, that it could be found everywhere. I'm now starting to call God it to avoid confusion. People invented all sorts of religions and phrases and schisms and sects to describe the existence of this quantity, let's call it the it. And I think it is a far better word to use, seeing that it is one of the most commonest words in the English language. So many people use it, so it must mean something. You constantly hear, okay, where is it? Or what's it all about? Or I don't believe it. And the reason I don't believe it is because I can't see it. Seeing is believing, as they say, and if I can't see it, then it can't be there, can it? Down the ages, inventors have produced an array of meters and gauges and sensors and lenses for measuring light and sound and temperature and all of the other electromagnetic energies. But all of them are limited to the measurement of the frequencies between oscillating particles and waves, and they have come to rely on this assortment of sensors, we have as well, to confirm the reality of the universe and the structures within it. Now we use our eyes to measure the frequencies of light reflected from objects, and we build massive particle colliders using the same measurement to see what happens and try to gauge other existences, assuming they all vibrate, they all have got a waveform, and we attach electrodes to people's brains and measure the brain activity, and pulses are felt to confirm we're still alive. But when it comes to the ubiquitous something which doesn't oscillate or tremble, all of these tools become absolutely useless. And so if it consists of non-oscillating stuff, then tracing it is beyond the capacity of meters, gauges, sensors and lenses. They don't register anything, and the needle is stuck at zero. The screen remains blank, and so the researcher reports back, haven't found anything, haven't found it, can't be there, can't find it anywhere. And we're happy to believe them, and they dismiss it as being absent from the real world, or perhaps explain it away as simply the invention of those who wish to control others. Don't even go there, say the traditional scientists. The human race is conditioned into thinking the world can only be lived through 5 senses: touch, sight, smell, taste, hearing. There are some who suggest that balance ought to come into that as well, to make a 6th sense. But each sense has evolved as an oscillating device to measure the interval between one oscillation and the next, So expecting it to respond to anything outside of this pattern is still regarded as odd. If I can touch, see, hear, taste, then its existence is confirmed. And astrophysicists claim that this potential for seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, smelling began 380,000 years after the Big Bang show, and which created and then choreographed the seemingly endless performance of the trembling particles and waves here on Earth. All life and material substances tremble at a synchronized frequency of 7.83 times a second. It's known as the Schumann effect. In and out, up and down, we all go together, and disappearing at the end of each oscillation and reforming again. And it's something which our 5 or 6 senses have got used to, because we don't notice it. We fail to notice that everybody's doing this, because we all tremble at the same frequency, and so we've become used to the effect. So it follows that if it doesn't oscillate, then it can be a complete waste of time and effort for anyone attempting to locate it using any one of these human senses, these faculties. Pursuing something that's beyond the limits of the physical universe is an exercise for the mind rather than the body and brain. If we could make use of this other part of ourselves, the extrasensory aspect, could it be consciousness, then who knows where it will lead. I think we were all born with it, but unfortunately many of us came under the influence of well-meaning parents and relatives and the media and toy manufacturers and marketeers and religious nutters and doctors and politicians, do-gooders and all and sundry. And each of those sectors encouraged us towards a more materially trembling existence. I think if we could learn to free ourselves from this narrow vision, and also the scientists and technocrats and experts who live within that vibrating world, then we might transcend the limitations of discovery and move into the levels of infinite unknowing. So let's go for it.